Hello there, and welcome to this version of the Kill Count. I'm MacLeod, and this is definitely my idea that I came up with on my own without any inspiration from anyone else at all. In this video, we're talking about the original Sonic.exe game released all the way back in 2012. I wasn't even in kindergarten when this shit came out. However, the original story actually came out a year or so prior and is what this game is based on, even if several details were changed for obvious reasons. The original story was so bad it was sent to a troll pasta website instead of an actual creepypasta website. No wonder Sonic.exe has such a bad reputation. Unfortunately, Sonic.exe also has a bad reputation because the monster who created both the original Sonic.exe story and the sequel has been exposed as a groomer. Now, I was a little worried about making this video because of that revelation. However, the Sonic.exe community has worked very hard to separate themselves from the monster, and the person who made the game, thankfully, isn't actually the original story creator. The person who made the game is MY5T Crimson, who in August of 2012, almost a year after the story was released, gave us this game, and it blew up hard. This intense popularity later spawned a whole fuck ton of games, including the very popular Spirits of Hell, the equally popular Nightmare Beginning, Sunky.jpg, and the sequel to this game, Sally.exe. This incredibly massive selection of games and individual game series, yes, some of these games have sequels, is partially why I've decided to start making this very original series. The other reason is because I find the idea interesting and just want to have some fun with it, considering no one really talks about the death count in video games, or death count in anything like Dead Meat. Obviously, some of the original kill count stuff, like when people died, have to be nullified for obvious reasons, but most of it will remain the same, like the best and worst kill, gender breakdown, and background information. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's talk about how, bad this game is. Yep, even though this game pretty much spawned the community as a whole, it's definitely become outdated in future years. If you want some reasons as to why this game has become outdated, well, the heavily simplistic gameplay, weird imagery, and the many better games regarding Sonic.exe like Spirits of Hell and Nightmare Beginning would have to be why. Also, people have made their own versions of this original version, which if this video gets popular, I'll consider checking out in the future. But for now, we gotta check out the original and see how many bodies we can count up. So with everything out of the way, let's get to the kills. Also, there's a whole wiki that goes way deeper into the lore of this game than I ever could, so if you actually care about the story for this game, go ahead and check that shit out. Link is in the description. The game starts like any other Sonic game with a title screen, until Sonic eyes turn red and the background becomes creepy. Now before we continue, I just have to say that no, Sonic will not be counted. Anyways, we then move on to the definitely creepy data select screen with reversed Earthbound music playing instead of an actual Sonic related song. Tails is currently the only option accessible, so you kinda have to click on him. Doing so sends us to the classic Green Hill Zone, except it's looking a lot more empty than usual. I wonder why. And the music sounds different and oh no, those are dead bodies and there's a lot of them. Now, technically I should count these, but because of James's no animals on the kill count rule, which I will follow, I will not be counting any critters as they're basically just like animals. Eventually we make it to Sonic, who's oddly standing there and doing nothing. Hoping he isn't a dead body waiting to conveniently lose its head once you touch it, Tails walks up to him only to get the spooky eyes.
Hello. Do you want to play with me?
Now we're in Angel Island Act 2, where Tails runs to the right, only to be chased by Sonic.exe. Sonic.exe to appear and rip his stomach open. Holy shit! Tails is obviously the first kill on our count, his art being consumed by the evildoer. If you want some background info on who does Sonic.exe's lines, well, here you go. Sonic.exe was voiced by Shay Grell, who is considered the official voice actor for the character. In recent years, he has stepped away from the franchise. Anyways, after that happens, one of several popular catchphrases appears, and now we're back to the data select screen, where a very red version of Knuckles is now the only character accessible. Clicking on Knuckles takes us to this definitely very scary version of Scrap Rain Zone, with once again reversed Earthbound music playing in the background. After running to the right for a little bit, a mix of very poorly and very not poorly inserted blood appears while you continue to run to the right. Sonic.exe even appears to take Knuckles into a scene transition, which allows one of the many infamous lines to appear. I did say there were a lot of them. Once Knuckles completes his scene change, he then tries to fight back against the evildoer, only being able to land some punches on some fake .exes. With his fighting attempt a complete failure, suddenly he's on the ground crying, with Sonic.exe standing over him like they're in a continue screen. Sonic taunts the poor echidna for a few seconds, and now Knuckles gets stabbed? Checking the sprite sheet doesn't help at all, so that's why his cause of death is so underwhelming. With that over, we get possibly the most popular line from this entire game, or at least the second most popular line, for we're now back to the select screen. Because the previous two characters are no longer available, we're now playing as the genius himself, Dr. Eggman, who is running through this very odd version of Marble Zone. Cause, like, I don't remember that blood on the wall, or this checkerboarded floor where I was running past lava traps and chandelier spikes. Oh, also, there are secrets during each character's run, which I have purposely avoided talking about because literally none of them do anything at all to this kill count for now. They're literally, for the most part, just to reveal some lore while the character continues to run to the right, sometimes getting the only platforming in this entire game. Sonic is literally a 2D platformer. You would not call a game where you just run to the right and pretty much do fuck nothing a platformer game, would you? Let's move away from that tangent with a fun fact, that being that the theme for Knuckles' secret stage is the reversed version of the intro theme for fucking Clockwork Orange. Why? Who knows? Anyways, back to the doctor, who runs to the right, but this time there's a twist. This time there's stairs for him to walk down. I know, very different from before. The walls get red, the walls disappear, and that chuckle lets us know that Sonic is near, and Sonic is here to make sure that the doctor's dead. The doctor doesn't even get a death sprite before we get transitioned to this Google image looking thing. Well, I mean, look at this early 2010s glory staring right back at you, isn't it beautiful? I only talk about this screen because the line you all love and know appears on it for, again, the very first time. Moving past that significance, we get sent to the Game Over screen, which, fun fact, does not appear in the original story and was an original addition from Crimson, and honestly, this version of it looks really good. Note I said this version, as there is an original version which looks miles worse than this drawing. However, it does get us a better look at the dead versions of Knuckles and Eggman, so I'd give it that at least. After that screen disappears, the credits roll, which marks the end of the normal game. But there's still one more part to this game that I purposely glossed over until now. You see, the special areas may be useless to the kill count, but they aren't useless in the game, because you can collect a black ring from each special stage, which is the name I will be giving them, by the way. I know the actual name is Secret Stage. Anyways, you're probably asking, how do we access the special stages? Well, I'm glad you asked because it's very simple. You see, you simply turn your ass around and go the other fucking way than intended. Once you complete the special stages, which sends you back to the starting location, guess what you have to do next? If you guessed, go back there again, then you would be correct. What this does is give you a black ring that tells you to get all three, get to the credits screen, wait a little bit, and someone very special makes their proper grand appearance. It's Sonic, who is still alive somehow. If you remember the opening, you saw this coming, as I did say Sonic wasn't going on the count, and well, this was why. For anyone who wants an explanation as to how Sonic is still alive, it's very simple. You see, Sonic.exe didn't kill Sonic, he simply took over his body and left Sonic to travel through his mind palace. This Mind Palace area reveals the canon names of the people who died, but I'm not going to add them to the count because we've never truly met any of these people in visual format, so that's why the characters themselves are counted instead. By the way, there are more fourth wall breaks in this game, though most of them only appear in the special stages, and the rare ones that don't are very minor, although I guess this one is somewhat infamous to the community. Anyways, Sonic travels on as the background becomes alive and the foreground talks to you. Sonic continues to travel, and apparently the player's soul is now going to be added to the game, which is revealed to us before this JPEG appears and swallows him. I think it's safe to add Sonic to the count now, as this JPEG probably killed him or something. I know I'm wrong in adding him, but at this point I highly doubt Sonic is still there mentally, and considering he doesn't appear in Sally.exe, this game's official sequel, in any form except for Sonic.exe in a very short little weird ending thing, I'll add him to the kill count here. Anyways, a devil horn Sonic.exe then appears over a grainy background while making some car noises. Before random Japanese text appears on an actually rather cool background. This text, by the way, apparently translates to, "I was killed Killed in a raging massacre, until all my strength was gone. I killed, and yet they torture me more, only to die for the devil's enjoyment. And with the random Japanese text out of the way, this game has come to an end. How many souls were played with so little time? Let's find out and get to the numbers. By my count, 4 people died in Sonic.exe, all 4 being male, which would give us a very blue pie chart if I had the budget to add one to this scene. Because there's no point in doing a kills per minute, and there's no alternative endings, let's jump straight to the thing you're probably waiting for. Golden Chainsaw goes to Tails, who has the most proper death out of all 3, and the only death that's actually kinda horrifying. Dude gets his stomach opened, for goodness sake. Dull Machete could honestly go to literally any of the other deaths, but I think it should go to Eggman, who doesn't even get a proper death before the screen cuts to static. To be fair to the Doctor, Sonic also doesn't get one either, but that death is more impactful than Eggman's by a long shot for very obvious reasons. And with that, the video has come to an end. I hope you enjoyed this kill count, and if you want more, please let me know, as honestly I really enjoyed doing this. If this does continue, I've prepared ahead of time to make my own rule list, which I will link in the description if you feel like reading it, and also so I don't forget my own rules, as I am rather forgetful. I also prepared for the next kill count, which will be, obviously, Sally.exe next Friday. But, well, only if this gets popular, of course, because Devin and I spent a lot of time on this, and I don't want our time to be wasted on something that isn't popular. But with all of that out of the way, thanks for watching this video, and, as James always says at the ends of his videos, be good people. I've been MacLeod, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!